Okay, this seems to be working just fine. Okay, it's trying to break apart here. There we go. Piece is free. All right, I'm just going to keep removing the base here. All right, that was much easier. Okay, good. Dispose of these right away. Yeah, these pieces are terrifyingly fragile. All right. Dig it in here. Here we go. Let's see if I can kind of snap these with the blade. Yeah, it's pretty easy actually. Getting these off. Again, this is my first time dealing with 3D parts, resin. I've seen it done on other videos, but you know, experiencing for yourself is much different. Okay. All right. Okay, I have to get in a little bit deeper here. Our neighbor dog's yelping now. There we go. All right, popped right off. Okay, so let's take a closer look here. Okay, so you guys little pieces here. Okay, I'm going to continue kind of chopping some of this detail. This is the back side of the part, so I don't really need to get too crazy here, but I guess it's good practice. All right, let's see here. Yep, nothing that was supposed to be there popped off, so that's great. Hey there, Mike. Bottle tank guy. Oh, I do have a razor saw. I've got one here. For these little pieces, I think it's, for some reason for me, it was working out fine with the X-Acto blade. You know what, let me try it. I'll try this other one with the saw. They do certainly recommend it. In the instructions, this is my very first time dealing with 3D parts, so I'll take your advice. I did saw off these pieces, so yeah, go on, all right. Can everybody hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up. If you don't mind, let me know you can see okay too. Would appreciate that. All right, let's continue on here. I'm going to go with the finer blades here, finer teeth. Yep, that should be working pretty good. All right, that worked well. Let me, I'm going to go from a different angle here on with the X-Acto blade. Just kind of push. There we go. I think it's going to give pretty soon here. Ooh, don't want to do that. Go straight across. Okay. There we go. Okay. Didn't saw it just pull one away. Okay. All right. Let me see. I'm just going to clip some of these little excess pieces. Like I said, these are the back sides, so I'm not too worried about it. All right. And there we go. Outstanding. Looks really, really good. All right, 4 down, a couple more to go here. These pieces I'm gonna need to, it's a little tricky. They're saying here, there's a little tab here that they want you to save. Something like this. All right. Okay, I've seen a line here. Let's see. And it's just very specific about what they want you to remove and not remove. Okay, I'll tell you what. No, I don't know. Don't know what to do now. All right, I'm just going to start with the first ring and see if that is enough. I also want to get the next piece off to add them together so I can see if I'm on the right track here. I could also put this over sandpaper, but being resin, I really want to be careful not to just have a bunch of particulates. This stuff can be nasty for your lungs. It's possible it doesn't behave the same as resin used to. I just know that you just want to be careful of it. So let me know in the comments, guys, if you know anything about this stuff. Is there a new formula of resin that is not as toxic? Because sanding would make things a little easier. And my breathing apparatus is in the garage at the moment, so. Yeah, wet sanding would probably be the way to go for sure. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's hold off on digging too far into that. I want to get the piece that's going to attach to it, which looks to me it's R1, and the R6 goes on that. Okay. So here, R1, they're asking me to basically remove right here at this lip. Okay, so this will be work for the saw for sure. I'm going to pull and then forward. Let's do a little bit of time here. I think that's the best way to go at it. So as I was saying earlier, I got a good couple of hours to work on the model today. It's coming along nicely. I'll show you it in a moment here. And I plan on working on these. I don't think I'll finish them tonight. There are some other steps I'd like to work on the vehicle too. The vertical stabilizers, I want to get them on. And I'd like to show you my work on the seat and do a little bit more work on it. I want to get the some decals on the seat. All right, we're getting there. So anybody who's worked with resin detail sets, this is a very typical part of the process, having to remove the excess. You just got to be patient. Working with resin, you know, these detail sets and stuff, it's the detail is very much worth the extra effort it takes to just simply remove it off the excess. So I try not to complain the fact that I have to take these pieces off. I'd be grateful for the detail that it offers. I don't always use resin aftermarket sets. In fact, had I known that the intakes would be closed up, I probably would have just kept with the kit supplied exhausts and covered those up as well, but I'd already ordered these. All right. I bet a jeweler's saw would work better than this. I think those are in the garage too. It's all right. I'll keep at it. I should get it. I actually don't remember where my jeweler's saw is. I bet I should order one. Okay, we're getting there. Try not to kick up that dust. So as I've been announcing on YouTube, we had a model contest on Saturday. It went very well. we had over 400 entries, which is a lot for this area. This area being the Bay Area. It was a huge turnout. The place was filled to capacity for sure. A lot of people there. It was great, and it was nice. It's always great to see old friends and make new ones. I decided to go ahead and judge. My kids didn't show up. The family didn't show up until the last couple of hours, so that offered me the opportunity to judge. When they're there, it's not easy to do anything but help them out. So that was a nice break. Got a good stash of models. I got them down here. I'll show you in a minute here what I got. Some from the vendors, some from the raffle. Another friend of mine he got it from the raffle, and he was like, I don't build armor. Do you want it? And I said, you should build it. And then we quibbled over it for a few minutes, and I said, okay, I'll take it. But I'll build it for you. I told him I put his name right on top of it. Always appreciated when people pass along the kits that they don't want. It's great. It's a good vibe at contests. Speaking of that, my friend came, entered his model for the first time, or entered in a contest for the first time. It was his third model. He built a King Tiger, which was excellent. I won the raffle in the first round. There wasn't really anything I wanted, but there was a German vehicle, Tamiya German vehicle that he wanted, and just handed it off to him. And that's just the way it is at the model contests. Everybody's very giving. All right, this is taking a bit of work. Thank you for your patience. I did place. I'm actually pleased to say that every model I brought placed. I was not expecting that. You know, when you see as much competition as there was on the table, it was like, okay, well, I got to go into this thinking if I get something, I'm, happy. But to have everything placed was like just a huge honor. So I ended up getting 2 firsts. I remember now. Oh, three silvers and 2 bronze. And the models themselves are sitting right over there on the desk. Model tank guy. Did I wet the parts? Okay. That's a good suggestion. You know what? I've got a thing of water here. I'm going to do that. That is a brilliant idea. And so I guess that keeps the dust down, huh? All right. It is now wet. I appreciate that. All right, you're going live tomorrow in the afternoon. It's entirely possible. My friend is coming over tomorrow. And, I might talk to him about doing that. And work on a wet rag. I love that. Another excellent suggestion. I've got some paper towels here. I think these will suffice. Let's just go ahead and soak it. All right. And then I'm just going to throw it over the previous stuff. Brilliant idea. Love it. Thank you, sir. My kids also entered their models. And my daughter, who's 4, got second in they call it the sub-youth category. Yeah, excellent. Model tank guy, thank you. Yeah, they call it sub-junior. And so she got second for an airplane that she painted. She did a YF-22, a Heller kit. It was one that we picked up at another contest, and she just, I don't know, she just wanted to do it. And then she painted it pink and blue and red, and I said, great, whatever you want to do. I don't care. So she got second. She was pretty proud. My son was bummed. He brought 2 models, and he actually didn't place on any of them. The other kids, I think, just, were just older and more experienced. And it was a real lesson for him because he hadn't really been in a situation where he hadn't sort of won something model-wise, or, he's in baseball, and so they hand out like trophies and stuff, and everybody kind of gets one. And so that experience of not winning was rough on him, but of course, it's good for him, all right? We all got to experience it at some point. So we had to talk about it, and he's forgotten about it, so, which is good, But that'll definitely be a kind of a core memory for him, I think. And a valuable one. All right. Just keep at it. Try to get that finger out of the way. Yeah, I feel like a jeweler's saw would. This one just kind of stops right here at the handle, so it's hard to get through. Okay, so the models that play, I mean, they all place, but the Mirage got first, and the M54A2, the 5-ton truck, which I was really happy about, because that one, I really felt like I did, when you're building something, and you're just like, man, it's clicking, and you look at it, and you're like, there's nothing else that I can really do with it at this point. That's how I felt with that model. And it was one of those situations where at contests, I just felt like it wasn't being recognized in the way that I saw it, right? And so it was just one of those situations where I was kind of like, I was bummed out. I was like, maybe it wasn't as good as I thought. Maybe there was something I'm missing, and I couldn't quite figure that out. So to get a first this time around felt a little bit of vindication for it. The Mirage, on the other hand, I'm completely surprised about. I literally, we talked about this before. I got burnt out on it. I think I was encountering so many fit problems, and it ended up just not being as great a kit as I thought it was going to be. There we go. We're all set there. And so, okay, that'll need to be sanded down probably. And so, on the way to the contest, it's the only model that broke. So the canopy came clean off. And I'm sitting in the back of the car, the hood open, and I'm, putting the pieces together, trying to glue that canopy on, and ended up having to use super glue because white glue is I'm not going to be able to sit there and hold it, And I just like, okay, fine. Like I was even at the point where I wasn't even going to bring it. I remember that too. But despite, it was in another competitive category, aircraft, single engine, 48 scale. And it just did well. And, that's just how it works sometimes, I guess. All right. So this piece, it should be on the outside. That's right. Okay. The Pink Panther took I've got a silver, and I was really proud of that one too. I wasn't expecting to necessarily place with that one. It kind of had the same problems that the M54 had. And that one I did a lot of work on. If anybody had built the Tamiya Pink Panther, it's really a great kit. You don't need to do a lot on it, but I decided to do a lot of scratch building and extra aftermarket on it. And so given that, I was always expecting to just do a little better than it had been doing, but the fact that I got second this time, and again, a super competitive category. There were, I think, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 other models. Maybe not super competitive, but for our contest, that was competitive. And to be, you know, for that one to be recognized felt really, really great too. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Always love those contests. We have about 2 a year in this area, and that it feels like a good amount. Like we don't really need more than that. And I try to always make them. Yeah, Frank Sinatra, I appreciate that. I know, I was just talking about that. Let me try and think where we might have a mask lying around. I'm not going to sit here and sand the pieces. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna pause on this. At least I went for it, and you know, again, my first time dealing with 3D parts, so I'm happy to see that is fairly easy to work with. First time working with resin, but I do need to have better protection with this stuff. So I'm gonna pause there on this part, put it away. We're gonna move on to something else. I think that's just probably a good thing to do anyway. This could very easily get really boring sitting here just sawing these parts out. But anyway, yeah. So first experience working with this stuff, really enjoy it. The details absolutely worth the time it takes to get these pieces out. And I'm sure you'll see how this looks on the next video. Make sure I get everything back. Okay. Clean these pieces up as best I can. All right. I'll be scrubbing this for the next hour. All right. Good suggestion. Let's move on. All right. So I want to show you some of the haul that I got at the contest. Again, these are from, let's wet the rag a little bit. These are from both the vendors and the raffle. I always have excellent luck when it comes to raffles. I don't know what that is. I know there are people who are just like, they feel like they just can never seem to get a break with a raffle. I have the opposite experience. I always manage to get something, and even like the you know, when they bring out the big ones at the end, I seem to get something at the end. So I'm blessed in that way. I don't know what it is, but anyway, here, got this one. This is maybe it's better show it this way. The Harrier AV8B2 Plus Hasegawa kit. I went ahead and purchased this one. $30. That's about the going price. I got it down to 25, but it was something where I was like, I'm just gonna get it kind of, you know, market price, no big deal. It's an older kit. And I think it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to working on it. I was looking around for some more interesting paint schemes other than just the grays, but I think that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna see if I can find some at least interesting insignia for it. All right, let's see that one for last, the big prize. Okay, so this is the LVT4 AFV Club. This is the one where my friend was like, I don't build armor. He won it, and he handed it off to me. Very, very generous. Should be interesting. I'm a big fan of some of this weird armor. So, yeah. And I'm sure it'll be super over-engineered, as AFV Club is wont to do, but really, really nice kits in general. My best builds, some of my best builds come from the AFV Club kits. This one I won in the raffle at the beginning, Star Trek Excelsior. Not a big sci-fi model person, but I am a big Star Trek and Star Wars fan. Yes, it's possible to like both. And I would say Star Wars ekes out just a little bit better because that's what I grew up loving. Ooh, try not to hit these. But as I got older, I began to have much more appreciation for Star Trek. Yeah, especially the movies. And I'm one of those guys that's like, you know, they say the first one, the third one, the fifth one are all terrible. I like all of them. I don't like them all equally. But I'll sit there and watch the fifth one, not a problem. I'll watch Search for Spock, not a problem. I'll watch the first one. The first one's, I think, the worst. But I will, I'll watch it. I'm not such a stickler about hating on the odd number ones. This is one I purchased. I've been wanting this one for a while. The Showtime 100 F4. Got this one on a decent price. I don't think it was marked down a whole lot, but this was, I think I attempted this build years and years ago. Unless there was a monogram or a Revell version of it. I don't recall, but the Showtime I attempted a long time ago and been wanting to do a really, really nice one of it with my updated skills. So yeah, we'll give that one a try. Of course, there's other companies that have their versions of the F4 much more updated, but I'm familiar with the Hasegawa. I have an F4E in a case over here, which maybe I'll bring out at some point, which I built at this point now about a decade and a half ago. So I'll definitely improve on this one. I'm sure I'll close up the intakes. They don't have the engine on the inside. But other than that, probably just out of the box. I mean, I might do 3D decals for the interior, for the cockpit, just to kind of see what it looks like. But yeah, really, really interesting. Kind of an iconic F4. And then finally, this is what I got as the grand prize, or one of the grand prizes, the P-38J Lightning. I think this kit was, it was considered like the best model of 2022, if I remember right, or 2023, one of those years. Just outstanding. I've heard so many great things about this. I've even read, it might have been like in Hyperscale or Cyber Modeler. Somebody was reviewing it and they said, you will not be able to tell. The fit is so good that when you put pieces together, you will not be able to tell if it was the pieces, the seam of the pieces going together, or if it was a scribed seam. I was like, oh, so very excited. This is an aircraft that historically is hard to build because of the fit. The fit isn't always great. And then the fact that you have to do all this alignment just complicates things. So this is a perfect subject to have such amazing fit issues with. You could have amazing fit issues with a P-51 Mustang or an F-16 or something, but like to make it fit as good as it does supposedly with the P-38, that really says something. So I'm super excited. I think I'll just go with the Marge, the Richard Bong aircraft, also iconic, of course. I'm curious to see how the decal looks for the image. The image on the actual aircraft, you see photos of it, and it looks just like a photograph. I'm not sure how they created that in World War II, but I'm curious to see what the decal can do, what it looks like. Haven't opened it yet. I think this is one of those kits where I need to, like, once I start it, that's when I open it. Anyway, yeah, so that's the haul. Pretty happy. Yeah, let's read some of these chats here. Congrats on the wins. Thank you, Maltink Guy. Let's see. Rick said, yeah, wash down your bench. Now on hands down. Yeah, true. I suck at them, never have any luck with them. Oh, you're a Trekkie too. All right, right on. Fuel stash models. Nice haul. P30 is awesome. I hear it. Yep. I wish Tamiya would do. Oh yeah, the Black Widow P61. Well, I believe the company. Oh, they had one. It was a P61. I think it was Great Wall Hobby. that did the P61. There was one up there as a final prize as well, which I would have been just as happy to build. Again, another model that requires, well-fitting parts. There's the old Revell. Might have been a monogram kit. That has raised panel lines, as I recall. I think I built that one as a kid, or tried. Yeah, if Tammy did a Black Widow, that would be something. Is it Great Wall? Yeah, Great Wall makes it. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Yeah, on my Amazon list, I've got one sitting there. I was actually thinking to myself, if I didn't get any good kits, I would just go ahead and hit buy. That one, and there's also a T33, I think it was from Great Wall Hobby. I was really interested to build one of those. So those were 2 kits that I've kind of got my thumbs over, and like, should I just go ahead and buy them, even though I got all these kits now? Yeah, you got the Revell one. Cool, very cool. It would be great to do a good job on that one. Yeah, I've seen some people do really really nice work with it. It's definitely possible. So, all right, I'm gonna wipe this desk down one more time, and then we'll get started. All right, I think we're good. All right, model so far, here it is. Worked on these flaps a whole bunch today. Spent a good couple of hours on them. As I said earlier in the video, I'll just kind of revisit. Somehow Hasegawa seemed to be under the impression that this flap comes out more than this one, and I'm not quite sure where they got that from. I've been looking at my references. I've got about 5 books, and I have not seen anyone be other than flush here. And the reason why I think that is because there's a whole bunch more plastic on the edge here, and then also the seam is suggesting, right, if you can see the seam here, suggesting that they're supposed to be lined up. I'm bummed about that, but I also I got to the point where I said, okay, I just need to get them on, and I'm not gonna worry about it. So the wings are consistent; they're the same, and so I'm just at this point happy with that. It did take a lot of work to just get the right level of space in between here. I was able, I had to add some shims on the ends here. The shape wasn't quite right. You can see the white plastic there. And then just to get the right level of spacing between these 2 flaps, I really took a lot of care in that. So despite the fact that they seem to be engineered incorrectly, I just worked with it the best I could. So this might be one of those places where buying the Mang and the Kinetic, this would potentially make it worth it for another $20-$30 more, but we'll see. I do plan on doing another FA-18 at some point because I'm actually starting to really like this aircraft. Oh, you did the P-61 Invasion Stripes. Very cool. That's pretty cool. I guess it would be the olive drab version in Invasion Stripes. I don't think I've seen the Night Fighter version with the... Although it's possible. Yeah. Very cool. All right. Got some photo etch pieces on here. And other than that, I think I'm just ready to go ahead and start. Oh. Yeah, let's do that. I want to work on the stabilizers here before I get too far ahead. And then when I'm done with these, I'd like to go ahead and do a little bit of work on the ejection seat, kind of show you where I'm at so far. All right, so let's take these off. Oh, the D-Day one. Yep, cool. Very cool. Yeah, the green version is definitely intriguing of the P61. I could see myself going that route, but I don't know. I think I would just go with the black, at least for the first build. All right, let's see here. All right, so we've got some flaps on these as well. And I think I want to, yeah. Oh, keeping track of which one is not going to be that hard because there's only a certain angle that they go. So that's something that I try to look for when I'm taking parts off the tree is making sure to keep track of the number. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes I don't need to worry about it. So it's nice when you don't. All right. All right. Yeah, I had the wrong angle of that one. There we go. All right. I know there are folks out there that use their knife towards their thumb. Anybody here work with your knife that way? Let me know in the chat. There's a debate that rages on about that. I've seen some pretty interesting videos about that. People say, well, if you face it towards your thumb like this, then it forces you to be more careful with the amount of pressure that you're using. So it's an interesting viewpoint. I tend to go out though. All right, let's check the fit at this point. This way, there we go. All right, so check the seam. Pretty good. The inside, there's a little bit of a gap. Okay. Again, yeah, very slight. This gap, I'm not worried about. I will use some Vallejo putty for that. Okay, that's good. And here as well. All right, then I want to check the angle. There's a little bit of give. Can't see on the camera quite well. Let's see. Let's see if I can. All right. Yeah, there's a little bit of give. I mean, you know, it'll be glued down, but I need to make sure that they're both at the right angle, or I should say the correct angle. I actually feel that if they having a hard time. Let's see. There we go. If I sort of bring them both into the aircraft, that actually seems like the correct angle to me, which means the gap, there may be a gap on this side of the aircraft here. So we'll see. This will be something I'll want to really take my time with. Ooh, don't bring that flap down. All right. And let's see, any other... I should also go ahead and sand them while I'm at it. Let's use this one. A little better light here. There we go. Okay, I'm going to go straight across. There's both the seam here and the piece of sprue there. What do you guys call the piece of sprue that's left on the model? You have a name for that? Oh, you're butcher, right. You're used to cutting both ways. That's fantastic. I've seen a couple videos of these butchers, and that takes a lot of skill to be able to do that. Is there a particular piece of meat or that you prefer? I'm just curious. Oh, a nib? Yeah, I like that. That's a good one. I've heard that before. I wonder if that's kind of one of the official terms for it. I'm going to be real careful bringing this down. I want to kind of wait until I get the actual flap there. And also, if you could correct me, let me know. I'm calling this a flap here, but I think on the stabilizer there's a different name for it. If anybody knows what that is, chime in, let me know. All right. I'm just going to kind of scrape away the seam at the center here. Try not to remove any of the edge, just the center. All right. And this nib here, I like that. I'm going to try to use it more often. If I use it in my video, give me a thumbs up or something. Say in the content on the comments or something. I was the one who taught him that. All right. Okay, let's be careful here. Yeah, the Excelsior, that Star Trek model, that was the ship that Captain Sulu commanded in the 6th movie, also known as The Undiscovered Country. And that, I'm pretty sure that's my favorite one of all. I know Wrath of Khan, I know. But I know The Undiscovered Country like the back of my hand. I could probably recite the lines. I just love it. The music is phenomenal. Absolutely one of my favorite scores. It's got Christopher Plummer, so that means my wife will watch it with me because she's a Christopher Plummer fan ever since Sound of Music. Then again, who isn't? Sound of Music, you know. What a great movie that is. It's got a lot of fun actors in that one. I really like it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. You are a Trekkie. Oh, that's great. Good stuff. Connor, welcome. You're used to using the whole beef or pig in all ways. Got you. Okay. That's amazing. And then, are you using different blades for different portions, different sections of the cow or the pig? Or is it pretty much just one tool for everything? I imagine that that's a job that isn't very popular because, you know, you're obviously cutting up meat. I can imagine you're pretty much in demand with a career like that. And the amount of skill it takes to be able to make good cuts, I'm sure, is prized as well. If it isn't, they need to talk to me because I find that just amazing. All right, good. I think we're on the right track with these. Okay, now I want to get C8 out and ready. You use 3 knives and a saw. Wow. That's amazing. All right. I pretty much stick with getting ground beef and making hamburgers at home. I'm not too well versed when it comes to like cooking steaks, but it is something I would like to be able to do more. I just found out that both my daughters enjoy the taste of steak, so that's encouraging me to be like, okay, maybe time to start figuring this out, how to cook steak. Right now our thing is salmon. I bought a couple of pieces of salmon over the last couple of weeks, and again, my daughters have just really enjoyed the flavor of it, so it's good step. Meat is one of those things very difficult for kids to, you know, want to put in their mouth. My son is just like, he's just not about it at all. Actually, that's not true. There are times where he'll be like, hey, can I try some of that? And then he has a bite and he likes it, but just not enough to like, you know, request it. All right, so again, a portion sticks out a little bit. I want to see what's up with that. It could also just be the fact that there's a seam here. So it's not really a seam, but these pieces have been molded such that one side is raised. And this is pretty common in models. I think we've all experienced this. And so I'm just going to bring that down a little more flush and kind of see if that's the issue. I can check my references too and confirm, but I'm pretty certain that flap should be flush. Everybody able to see? Make sure I'm not covering you up. Don't forget to check out my latest videos. I've got one from the contest from Saturday where I'm just walking around, pausing at every model for a moment. Yeah, if you get a chance, check those out. Like them. If you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe. That would be great. Let's see. A boning knife is used for all cutting. Okay, very cool. All right, I'm noticing a couple things here on this fit here just to see if it doesn't come all the way down, so I'm going to see if that's an issue. And it's protruding out just a little bit, and I want to see if that's an issue as well. There are obvious ways to take care of this. I can shave this down. I can bring this section in a little bit. But there are some details here, so I think I'd almost rather bring it down from this end, and then if I need to, I can sharpen the point a little bit, the edge a little bit. If this needs to have a shim, I can totally do that. There might be a little bit of a space, probably not. I'll check my references. There might be a little bit of space up here that's needed anyway. And let's take a look. All right. I'm going to go to the walk around squadron signal, and this is kind of how I do it. You know, I take some pieces off, check the fit, make sure the seams are cleaned up, and then kind of have a look and see if what's depicted is close. All right. Well, these have been moved. Oh, here we go. All right. Doesn't really say whether, you know, it's a D or a C or something, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. But again, you know, there are slight differences sometimes in these larger aircraft or smaller aircraft. But yeah, this seems okay. It should be raised because it's clearing the engine, it looks like. So let's take a look here. So that's good. Let's do a check. Go against a little bit, yeah. Yeah. I think that'll work. There we go. Okay. So I am going to angle these in a bit. And then this clears it perfectly. Lines up just fine. All right. But then we still have the piece sticking out, and I'm seeing here just flush. Okay. So I think to combat that, that seam looks good. This one's still a little bit raised. All right. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and attach it at this point. Now, you know, if I attach it and if for some reason it's not, you know, strong enough, then I'll start sanding it, and I know that piece will break off. I've had that happen several times. So let's just go ahead at this point. I'm going to bring down a little bit more at the edge here. I don't want to go too far though. Okay. Still trying to consider what model I should build next. I've got a lot to choose from, as I'm sure we all do. Probably would be a good idea to finish the T-80. Also, I want to be careful to not wear myself out just doing aircraft all the time or just doing the tanks all the time. I think it's a good idea to kind of try to mix it up a little bit. So we'll see. Maybe the T-80. I have a bunch of armor kits to build, so that's always nice. All right. Well, yeah, I'm going to need to bring it down even more. So let's go from this side. I'm just going to go straight across for now. Being careful not to do too much. Yeah, we're about halfway there. And it's important to not kind of, you know, when we sand, sometimes these bend a little bit. If I apply pressure here and start to curve it and curve these little corners, I'm trying to be real careful to just, here is where I'm applying the pressure. Okay. And when I'm sanding, I don't know about you guys, but I like to switch up the directions that I sand. Okay. I think what that's doing is actually taking off more material. I think that with the nature, and this might be going a little too far, a little too crazy or fanatical about it, but anyway, I will scrape. Right, if we're scraping this way, we start to make grooves, okay? So then if we go this way, then we start to bring down those grooves. Whereas if we just keep going this way, we're not really making a whole lot of progress. So I like to go across, I like to go forward and back, and ultimately, if I can, do a circle, you know, and that sort of helps remove more material faster. I think it's much more dramatic when you're working with coarser sandpaper or sanding sticks. Those grooves are much more pronounced. But even on these fine ones, I'll try to mix up the direction I sand in. I've got some fuel tanks I need to sand as well. Maybe I can show you what I mean there as well. All right, getting close. I want to see the thickness of this, if I need to bring them in a bit. And then I can also compare. Yeah, it's a little bit thicker. So I'm going to start bringing these down a little bit as I go. And I'm just slightly angled. Again, trying to, you can see here how it's pretty even. Okay. I'm practically flat on the piece at this point, and then just bring it over a little bit. That way I don't get this sort of, you know, hump or drop off. Do the same on this side. I can exaggerate the angle, and then nearly flat at this point. Okay, the material's not going to go away, which is good. There's just the seam work here, really. And that's getting there. More flat here, I think it's better. There we go. All right, that'll work. Okay, let's see what we got. Yeah, pretty good. But I'm going to be myself and get it just right. And maybe even go too far. That's all right. All right. Anybody else here go too far when they're building? And then I remember my father, like I said, he did jewelry as sort of a side business for years. And you know, he would always say things like, you know, there's a point where you can push too far. And you have to be real careful to not be tempted to try to get it just perfect. And I always try to remember that. Okay, cool. There we go. I'm happy with that. All right, I'm going to glue it on here. Question is now, what glue am I going to use? Thank you, Frank Sinatra. Appreciate it. Yeah. The fit is good. The details are nice. There are some, you know, okay, let me just take a moment to answer Frank Sinatra's question here. I didn't know Frank Sinatra was here. This is amazing. What an honor. All right, so the halves of the cone, I wish I had put them on the fuselage individually and then brought them together. I talk about this in my video. But I put them together first, as the instructions say, and then put them on, and then realized I was going to have to do some work here on the side. Not a big deal. That's a pretty common problem, and one I should have paid attention to ahead of time. This work here took a lot of work. A lot of CA glue to get these fused, and then the cowlings, to get the cowlings fused, and then worked it down with sanding sticks, CA glue, accelerator, and sanding sticks. And just, you know, say, okay, I'm going to spend a half hour, I'm going to spend 40 minutes, maybe an hour on this, and that's just the way it is, right? That's what you got to do sometimes to get it to look right. And then rescribe the seam, some of the seams here. The flaps were a problem. You can see here they're oversized. These large ones are oversized. I think Hasegawa was under the impression that it should not be flush here, that actually this one comes out. Now, when you look at photos of the aircraft and the flaps are, these flaps are down, like they're in flight. Well, this one's up and these ones are down. It certainly looks like they protrude out a little bit. I think Hasegawa might have been, you know, not, I don't know, not working from plans or something, but working from photographs. I'm not sure exactly what happened here. But I made it so that they're flush and that they're the same on both sides, but you can see here the seam isn't quite lined up. I'm not exactly certain what happened there. I'll be honest with you. I'm surprised that that error is there. Anyway, the fit was great everywhere else. There's just, oh, as far as details, one more little thing. The scribing here. This line does not line up properly. You can see here it stops here, right at the end, and then is a little bit forward here. So it's same on the other side. I've been trying to figure out if I can fix that and how I'd fix it. I could rescribe another line and not worry about all of these little lines and then removing. I don't know. I've been saying, well, what if I rescribed this line down here and then filled those spaces in? That's entirely possible, but on the other hand, I also might just leave it and not worry about it. You know, there are things I did in this kit to update it and to make it a little bit better, a little more accurate. I don't know if I'm going to go that direction. But otherwise, yeah, really, really good kit. I'm having a lot of fun with it. If it's better than some of the modern kits, to be honest with you, the Kinetic Mirage 2000 was terrible in its fit, and this one is doing much better. So, really enjoying it. All right, too much talking. Let's get this out of the way. I'm gonna start gluing, and I want to figure out what glue I want to use. So Tamiya, if I do that, put the piece in. Some's going to ooze out and ostensibly fill this gap, which I don't want. So I think the way to go is Zap-A-Gap or any CA glue. All right, let's go with it. All right, lay down some. And I think I'm just going to, along here, I'm not going to add it here in case the seam starts to disappear. I don't want that. So here, and I'm just trying to target the center. My drops are a little too big here. Let's spread them out a little bit. A little too small there. All right, I'm going to flatten them out now a little bit. Get a little more right around here. Okay, the more I touch the glue, the more it's going to just sit and dry. So I want to be careful with that. I don't want to activate it too much. All right, drop it on. Let the slightest seam be there. Make sure it's center as best I can. All right, that'll work. Okay. Just let it dry naturally. I don't need to use zip kicker for it or anything. All right. I'm going to leave those. I'm going to skip over now. Let's skip ahead to, come to those another time. Skip ahead to the ejection seat. I'll be wrapping it up here probably in about 10 minutes. So let's kind of see what we can do here. Here's the ejection seat so far. Okay, it's out of the box, except for, well, not out of the box, I shouldn't say that. It's the The seat comes from the kit, but then as you might have noticed from my video, I was using green stuff for the cushion, rolled it out, sanded it down, came out pretty nice, I thought. And then on another one of our live streams, Livestream 5, added some of the seat belts here, did some work on these seat belts. This consists of pieces from these Annie's products, A-N-Y-Z, Annie's, I think I pronounced that right. I think it's German, so Annie's maybe. But this is a little seatbelt set, just sort of universal 48 scale, modern aircraft. And used a couple of those, and they turned out pretty nice. I'm happy with how they turned out. Got these blue straps here. They should be a little bit lighter, I think, so I'm going to fix those a little, just adjust them a little bit. But otherwise, it's going pretty good. It's not done. I still have, I have some decals I'm going to put along the side here, and there's some other details I kind of want to make a little bit lighter. They should have a yellow ejection stripes on this one. There's a couple of ways to do it. I could paint it and then freehand the stripes, which actually works out. If you have a right kind of brush and you sort of flatten it and then grab the edge of it, it can actually look pretty good. But I also have some Annie's decal strips that will work on that as well. So we'll see. We'll see how much I want to fuss with it. Yeah, the colors were right. The straps, these straps should be just a little bit darker, but I'm actually really happy with how they turned out. So I'm not gonna mess with those, but I will add some little pieces of like white paper. They're like these little like maybe they're like instructions or something on them. I'm not exactly sure, but these little pieces of white paper on the seat belts that I'll mimic. I added a little piece of wire that attaches the seat belts on the top here. Yeah, there's other little details I'll just kind of add just to go ahead and do it, but pretty much ready to go. Okay, painted the ends of these little nuts here, silver, and that's it. Yeah, doing good, having fun. This was the seat before. Right, and they have molded on seat belts here and then nothing up here. So this is just kind of shows you kind of the work. I redid this stuff here. I shaved some off and added some new details, some new wires and stuff. Otherwise, yeah. So I also did receive the resin seat, and looked at it and I said, I'm doing a fine enough job with the seat kit, the kit seat. So I decided to just go ahead and keep pushing forward on this one. And again, if I build another FA-18 at some point, I will use that resin seat for it. I don't think there's any other aircraft that uses this particular Martin and Baker seat. So it'll be dedicated to another FA-18. All right, and that's where we are. Just a reminder too, I have this ejection seat loop that I'll be adding to the front of it. So I'll loop it around maybe a piece of plastic or a toothpick or something just to get the right shape, and then trim it, attach it, and then there's some other details that are other colors that I'll paint on here as well. But this was done with black wire, and then I cut out really small strips of Tamiya tape and looped them around, sprayed everything with the primer. Once the primer, the idea is that the yellow is going to attach to the wire as well as lightening up the black so that the yellow looks more vibrant. And then I shot the yellow very lightly and then let it dry and then remove the tape, and reveals, because it's wire, it was shiny, so then I had to hit everything with a dull coat. And this is one of those situations where you need to have your airbrush set up well so that you can use it and you clean it quickly and efficiently so that you can move from one color to the next. And I used a Pache H for years and swore to it and said I'll never buy another airbrush again. And it was a siphon, not the gravity feed. It was a siphon one, and just thought, clogs were just the name of the game. And then I got Badger airbrushes, double action, gravity feed, and that was a game changer. And I said, I'm never going to go back to those Pache H's ever again. And realized that clogs are not part of the airbrushing process, as long as you have a good system for cleaning it after every session. One day I will journey back to the airbrush station. I got to get it looking more presentable. But once I do that, I can bring my camera back there and maybe film some actual airbrush working, which would be kind of fun. Amonger, thank you, bud. Appreciate that. Yeah, you got to get a small brush, very small brush. Something like this would do. And really, I mean, this isn't even that small. When I look at it, hang on, it's a little better. No, those look like the same size practically. But what I do is you have to also make sure that the paint is thin enough. It's just the right viscosity. And once you get it, you can take the brush and flatten it. And then you go at the flattened side and run it across, and it just gives you the straightest little line. I've done some really nice emergency stripes on those ejection seat handles just from freehand. What I used to do was cut little strips of black decal and try it that way too. That actually worked out pretty well also, but painting it's more fun. Yeah, Frank Sinatra, Cyanoglue, CA is the way to fill the gaps. Yeah, putty is great if you want the seam to show. And again, I use this stuff. There are seams where I want them to be filled in, but I want the seam still to be present. But if I want a seam to disappear, I'm going to use CA glue and accelerator, and it's done in a flash. In fact, I had to fix up some seams on these tanks here. Yeah, you see just a little bit here. There's a seam showing because I missed it. It wasn't anything having to do with the work that the glue was doing itself. And so that's been hardened with the accelerator. I got my glue, applied it, bit the end of the toothpick, the other end of the toothpick, not the glue one, went into my accelerator, my zip kicker, pick up a drop it right on there. 2 seconds, the whole thing's done, dry. This stuff, again, we're talking about fumes earlier, and toxins. So I close it up right away once I'm done using it, because that stuff can be nasty. But then I'll take a paper towel and wipe down the excess zip kicker, and then just start sanding away. And this is what I'll be doing for, a little while tomorrow, is just working with this Flexifile. See? Just show you real quick what I do. Trying to rotate the piece so I maintain the curvature. Okay. Let's go with something a little bit less aggressive. All right, and I'm looking for shiny spots. If I see a little shiny spot, then it means that the glue hasn't been leveled out. A little bit more here. And there we go. It's all done. I'll shoot it again with primer. It'll be good as new. Got some little spots here, a little spot here. What I like to do too, if I'm working on these, just to show you real quick, I'll use my, I just had it, my little saw. And before I start, I've got the pieces together, and there'll be that seam there, and I'll take the saw and I'll, sort of rescribe over that part. And then I'll do all the sanding work, and I haven't lost the seam. I haven't lost, there's no, sort of patch there of plastic, okay? If I do that before I start sanding, then it makes it much easier to keep that groove there. Anyway, I'm rambling, I'm going off on tangents. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, guys. Well, Model Tank Guy, you had an invitation there about meeting with you in the afternoon. I might be able to join you. I'll tell you what, if you could find my YouTube address on my Kenobi page, and just, I think it's like a Gmail on there. If you could just send me a message or just send me the link, I will try to stop by. I may have a friend here with me working on his model as well, and it might be kind of fun to have the both of us show up and say hi. All right, so let me know. All right. All right, everybody, have a great night. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.